All right, guys, here it is, the Rare Breed Triggers FRT-15 update. You guys have been asking for it, and I've been listening. I've been communicating with a lot of you in the comments and just trying to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. There were some things that I didn't feel comfortable actually typing out in the comments, so I'm going to try and answer all of your questions in this video while keeping it as short as possible. So this little guy, the Rare Breed Triggers FRT-15. Man, this has really made a splash, and I didn't realize how prevalent problems were with it until I posted that last video. That last video was not an attack against Rare Breed. All I did was encounter some problems and wanted to relay that information to you guys to make sure that you understood exactly what was happening. If you have already gone through all of the other diagnostic and troubleshooting steps to make sure that that trigger is running reliably in your platform. So no, that was not an attack on them. So some of the questions that I've been asked: has Rare Breed fixed my trigger, or are they going to fix my trigger? No, Rare Breed has not fixed my trigger. I personally don't think they will fix it, but who knows? They could prove me wrong. I also need to make sure that I say to you guys, everything in this video is my opinion and my perception of the interactions that I've had with Rare Breed and other FRT-15 customers. So no, they have not fixed my trigger. Let's see, is Rare Breed planning on releasing a second generation? I really can't answer that. I don't think they will be. You notice I'm gonna say I think or I don't think a lot in this video. I don't think they will be. There doesn't seem to be any post-purchase support for anybody. I haven't heard from Rare Breed in over 3 weeks now. I think almost 4 weeks, and my interactions with them were very much good cop and bad cop between the owner and the president. I didn't really like how all of that played out. I didn't really like being put in those situations, but I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail over that. I don't think it's necessarily that important for you guys, but I haven't heard from them in several weeks. They told me that they were going to fix my trigger, get me taken care of, and then that they didn't like my last video, and now I haven't heard from them in weeks. So I am not going to be supporting them. That is my personal opinion. That is my stance. I'm not saying you guys don't have to. I'm just not very comfortable with this company, with really interacting with them at all. So you can take that for what it's worth. Now, the only update that I have heard from them, and it's actually been through other customers, is that now they are telling people who have reached out to them with issues about their product, is that they're telling people to go sell them on Gunbroker if you don't want it. So essentially, hey, my trigger doesn't work. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you still want to get rid of it, you can go sell it on a website like Gunbroker and stand to make a profit. That's pretty much the only update I have from the last time I spoke with them on the phone. Now, I don't think that's very good for you guys. I want you all to draw your own conclusions about what's going on here. I'm trying to be very diplomatic about how I deliver this message. So I don't really like that response to people. Most other trigger companies out there that I've used offer lifetime warranties, and there is absolutely no warranty expressed whatsoever for the FRT-15, at least not that I've seen in their terms and conditions, user agreement, and all of the info that's on their website. So gonna let you draw your own conclusion on that. One thing I will say is that this trigger is very delicate, just in how it operates. The spring in it is very delicate, and once that spring gets damaged, you're going to encounter problems. It has absolutely nothing to do with this gorilla grip that Rare Breed has been calling it. Pulling the trigger as hard as you possibly can does not force that locking bar to just keep moving back and compress the spring that's right here. That's not how it works. I have completely assessed this trigger now and understand where the problems are coming from. So once that spring becomes damaged, you're going to encounter issues because now there isn't enough force pushing back on that bottom of the locking bar to match the speed of the cyclic rate. So once you shoot it, the spring is already damaged, so it cannot push that locking bar back before the BCG comes into full battery fast enough. So essentially it becomes a single shot rifle. You might be able to get more than one shot off. I was not. So the locking bar does actually travel as far forward as I illustrated in that first video, even though Rare Breed has been telling people that I get my information wrong and that it does not travel that far. The reality is it tries to travel that far, and that's why the spring is getting damaged. It's not bolt carrier bounce, but it's very similar to it. So the bolt carrier is moving forward, bounces into the barrel extension, and does this. Well, when it bounces back, it's disengaging the trigger. Essentially the same thing is happening with the locking bar. The locking bar is sitting right here waiting for that BCG to hit it, push it forward, and forcefully reset the trigger. Well, what's happening is it's moving forward. The BCG is ultimately going to stop once it meets that barrel extension. It cannot move any further forward. So it's gonna do this and stop. Well, what lies in motion stays in motion. So since there's nothing to stop this trigger bar or locking bar from traveling further forward, it will. It's going to travel further forward until it has met the most resistance down here to where it cannot compress anymore. It cannot move forward anymore. And then it'll come back. Well, since it's being bounced further forward than it was intended to move, that's where the compression and kinking and damage of the spring is coming in. Once that happens, essentially you need a new spring to get that trigger to run again, or you have to do some kind of at-home gunsmithing with a Dremel, machining. You're gonna have to remove some material, but ultimately you're gonna need a new spring to recuperate the intended power of that spring pushing outward. So I think I've answered most of you guys' questions. I'm sorry if I haven't. Please leave them down in the comments. I really try and stay on top of those for you guys because I want to keep you up to date. And let me know if you guys have any new mods that you've tried out that have actually increased reliability. One of the commenters on the last video actually used a different spring for the trigger, which increased tension and allowed him to get single shots off consistently and reliably. I thought that was an incredible mod because that was one of my biggest gripes about the trigger, is that it's extremely difficult to only shoot a single round. So thank you guys for watching. Take care, all right?